Hello Mainers, how's it going out there? We're going to be going over your forecast for the next couple of days. Most impactful events will be through tonight, which won't be a severe deal, won't be a significant deal. It's not until Sunday night into Monday where we see a potential nor'easter enter the state of Maine, and snow totals are going to vary, but I'm not going to give any information about that quite yet. But first, we're just going to get into your radar and satellite, but also before that, directly after the potential snowstorm, we go right down to the freezer. It gets really, really cold. Like, I'm talking really, really cold. Alright, so not future radar, but radar and satellite out there right now. We are looking at about a snow. You can't really see a mix line, but I'm sure some of these areas in here are actually experiencing right in between that snow and rain line. The green indicates you can see up here. The green indicates the rain, and the snow is obviously the blue. So moderate snow falling through Amity near the Holton area. Merrill getting on some heavy snow. For some reason, Caribou is dealing with some rain, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, since the temperatures are probably up there pretty cold and cold enough to be fully snow. Rumford into about northwest of Skowhegan, getting in some heavier snow bands. You may not be able to see it, but right in between the snow and rain lines, there's most likely a line of like sleet in there, so there's probably some sleet and freezing rain in there as well. But anywhere south of, basically south of Lincoln, on southward, you're dealing with pretty much all rain, all the way down to the coastline. We can zoom in on some of these other heavier pockets. This one is going to be moving through Augusta. That one just developed actually. But yeah, this one will be moving towards Augusta, probably be there within the next 5 to 20 minutes, I'd say. It just formed there. That pocket of heavy rain will eventually make its way over there. Probably an isolated downpour in there. No lightning detected with this so far, but I'm not going to say we're not going to see lightning. I mean, anytime you have some heavier downpours, there's always a chance you can see some thunder and lightning, or hear the thunder and see the lightning. Bags of heavy rain falling through northeast of Otis Field and northwest of Lewiston. Sebago getting on some heavier downpours. Snow all the way up through Rumford, all the way back through Mount Chase, all the way back up to Caribou, where I don't think this is actually rain falling. I think this is snow. But yeah, there's that. We can also take a look at the temperatures out there. Here's your temperatures. So apparently Caribou is sitting at 37 degrees, which would be rain. So any places you see that are above 33, any areas that you're seeing these whiter shades, that's an indication of colder temperatures. But 38 in Bangor, 38 in Augusta, 38 in wherever this is near Lewiston, 39 near Brunswick, 41 and 39 near Rockland, and 41 near the Mid-Coast, 40 near Westbrook, 34 near Conway, 38 near Bar Harbor. Millinock is sitting at 32 degrees, so that should be all snow. 33 in Shirley. We go up to Holton, 32 degrees in Holton. Caribou sitting at 37 degrees, 36 in Presque Isle, 34 just south of Erdmanston, and then 33 degrees southwest of the Allagash. We can also take a look at the winds out there. So the winds could be a little bit gusty out there as well. I wouldn't rule out, I wouldn't say we're going to see any power outages, but there's a slight potential right on the immediate coastline near Bar Harbor, where we could see some potential wind gusts near around 30 to 40 miles per hour, but that's really not quite enough to create any widespread power outages. Maybe a few isolated power outages may result, but nothing major. Bangor sitting at probably, these aren't wind gusts, these are just your current sustained winds. Bangor sitting around 30 miles per hour. Quite gusty up near Caribou, sitting at 25 to 30 miles per hour sustained winds. Only small area that you actually see with a crazy amount of wind is near Mountain Washington in New Hampshire, where they're always quite windy up there. Alright, now we're going to get into your future radar. But before that, we're going to be watching this system. So this system is going to go by, so we'll get through this first. But of course, before we do that, we have some watches and warnings and advisories to get through. So here's your current watches, warnings, and advisories. Again, we're going to mostly focus on Maine. Obviously, you can see that long streak of pink boxes. That is your winter storm warnings. We have winter storm watches in effect for much of eastern Maine. This does not include portions of the northern mountains and portions of northern Maine. But these winter storm watches extend all the way down to the down east coastline and all the way down through the mid-coast and southern Maine, and it does get into portions of near the mountains, but not quite there. near Scout, you can get down some winter storm watches in the Bangor area, and that goes all the way down to the southern coastline. Alright, here's your future radar. Alright, here we are. So here we are currently, I guess. Alright, so this is through tonight, through tomorrow. That rain slowly makes its way over. Snow will continue to fall, light to moderate at times in the mountains in northern Maine. We get a little clearing in the action. Alright, now we're going to zoom out and take a look at what's going on down in the south, because actually, believe it or not, this has a little bit of something to do with our system, our low pressure system. So our low pressure system is currently somewhere down in the Atlanta area as of now. It's going to right up the eastern seaboard near New York. It'll be offshore New York, obviously, so near Bridgeport and much of southeastern New York gets on some beneficial snow. That will eventually make its way off the Cape Cod coastline. It could be between either off the Cape Cod coastline or right all over the Cape Cod area, or even northwest of the Cape Cod area. We're still trying to determine the exact track of the winter storm. Anyway, we're going to see snow stretching from the Charleston area and the Appalachian Mountains all the way back through portions of northeastern Maine. So this is going to be a widespread system, but notice it is going to be a quick moving system. Alright, so here's your hour by hour. So you can notice later in the early morning hours to the early afternoon hours, you can see some snow already working its way into portions of Pennsylvania. That quickly moves off to the north and east. It rushes through Pennsylvania really quickly. Area of low pressure develops off the coastline, mixing line right down near the southwest, around the Massachusetts area in southern New England. Quickly rushes off to the north and east. Affects down East Maine. Down East Maine will be hit the hardest by this system, with these heavy bands coming through right between the Bar Harbor area on northeast towards Ellsworth and on in north and east. That moves through. There's that. We continue on through. This is the next couple of days. So here's a wider look at the system here. So again, right where I said it was, right in Georgia. Right where I said it was. Moves through, that system comes up the coastline. That goes through. There's that part. And then we have another system that develops in the southern, the Gulf of Mexico area, where they have currently winter storm watches, very rare winter storm watches in portions of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. That system will try to make its way up here, but it will get blocked out by strong high pressures controlling, draining in that air, the Arctic air. And then we might have a little bit of a system that develops off the coast of Florida and then potentially makes its way closer to us, but does not make it to us. And then we continue on, potentially another warm-up happening. This was not indicated by the European model a few days ago, but this is the Euro model now, showing a major, probably wind and rain event in the northeast, or as far as Maine goes, and then there's that. Alright, so you're probably not used to this. So I'm using the National Weather Service's version of their forecasting model, also known as the NBFD model, just because the weather models as far as snowfall go are just all over the place right now. By the way, I will have my snowfall forecast. I might tweak it tomorrow a little bit. I'm not sure, because it all depends on where the track of the storm goes. If it goes a little bit to the north, we drag those totals a little bit farther up to the north. If it goes off to the south, obviously those totals drag off to the south. Alright, here it is. So this is through tonight, so we'll get a few additional inches of snow. So this goes through tomorrow. And with this being said, I actually want to show you my snowfall forecast, particularly for this one, because I made one because it's not going to be a huge amount of snow, but it's going to be enough to maybe cause some slick roads. So let me show you that. Alright, so here's my first attempt at this one. I'm not going to really update this because I think this is fairly as good as you're really going to get with this sort of deal. So this is going to be the storm through tomorrow, through tonight. So yeah, through tonight into tomorrow afternoon before the next system comes through. So I'm expecting at least 1 to 4 inches in most spots across northern Maine. This will be anything northwest of Bangor or north of Bangor. I think anywhere south of about the Millinocket area on southward will probably be all rain, except for areas west of Augusta where the snow will likely latch on with that cold air will likely latch on with precipitation, creating more of a snow mix. So I think it will be pretty much all rain, especially in southern Maine and down the Downeast coastline. I think a tenth of an inch to around an inch of rain in far eastern parts of the state could be possible, but I'm not going to completely say we're going to get an inch of rain. I think a tenth of an inch to around a half an inch of rain is fair enough to say right now. I could see some localized spots between 3/4 of an inch and maybe an inch of rain, but it's not going to be a huge deal. But it will be enough to warn for any areas that have seen snow down the coastline. This will be kind of a snow melt or but not by any means will it be major because those temperatures are still, right now they're in the 30s to near around 40, basically Bangor and southward, so it won't be a huge deal. But back on to the future radar. Not the future radar, the snowfall. Alright, so again, that kind of perfectly lines up with my entire, not perfectly, but it kind of lines up with my particular snowfall accumulation. I think this pretty much sums it up. This is the National Weather Service's version of their models, the NDFD. So we go through. I want to push through Sunday afternoon. You notice that snow rising up through the southern New England and the mid-Atlantic. Monday, we quickly get 5-6 inches in southern Maine, and then we go through around 7 a.m. Around 7 a.m. quickly, widespread 7 to even areas, especially in the mountain range, probably higher because you get snow totals all the way up in the mountains. So 7 to around 8 inches in most spots. We continue on, that goes through. It'll pile on a few additional inches as the snow sticks around for a little bit longer. So we might see areas between 7 and 10 inches. I would not rule out a 9 or 10 inch, honestly. That goes through, continuing. This goes through Tuesday, continuing on through Tuesday. I'll go all the way through. And obviously we get lake effect snow. But I think that looks pretty good with that situation. So with this being said, let me show you my snowfall forecast. Alright, so here's my first kind of call at this one. This is my early snowfall forecast. I might upgrade this tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. But this is Sunday night into Monday afternoon. So basically tomorrow night into Monday afternoon, because the snow will linger around for a little bit longer. So I think a 2 to 4 inches is pretty fair and solid to say in portions of the foothills and mountains and across northern Maine. And obviously New Hampshire's going to see way more than just melting out of this. I mean, this is basically for Maine, right? I think the 2 to 4 inch range gets around near the Skowhegan area, and then quickly on southeastward you get into a little area of like 4 to 6 inches. I'm sorry this looks weird, but I did the best I could. 4 to 6 inches with isolated higher amounts is likely from about the Millinocket area, around the Holton area, all the way down through Portland. There's a good area, probably between Skowhegan and around the Rockland area, southwest of Belfast, and through Bangor up to Holton. I think there's a pretty good chance of seeing at least 4 to 6 inches, maybe some higher amounts. And then the jackpot area will be down to Penobscot Bay, from the mid-coast through Penobscot Bay, especially southern Penobscot Bay, but it will clip portions of the northern half of it. And down through Ellsworth, down east coastline will be heavily impacted by this storm. And down through eastern Maine, Eastport will get on some 6 to 8 inches, and I will not rule out some isolated totals between 8 and 10 inches. We're probably not going to see much in the way of a whole lot of areas between 8 and 12 inches, but we still can't rule out a few isolated amounts between 8 and 10 inches. And like we saw with the last system, before the Christmas storm, remember? It was supposed to be a statewide 2 to 4 inches, and we ended up seeing like 5 to 11 inches in some spots. So again, you never know what's going to happen. As of now, as far as that winter storm watch goes, the portion of down East Maine that has it at around 6 to 9 inches, so I'd say that's pretty fair. Alright, next. This is a big part of this, and I kind of want to discuss this right now because the National Weather Service currently does not have us at a blizzard watch or warning, but I'm seeing signs from the weather models that we could have near blizzard conditions. And remember, criteria for blizzard is at least 35 miles per hour sustained winds or wind gusts for 3 consecutive hours, right? So 3 hours straight of 35 mile per hour wind gusts or more, or sustained winds of 35 miles per hour. I think there's potential here. It's not a great potential. Some of the weather models are hinting at it, and other models are not. But the two models that are hinting at it the most right now, and the GFS model was originally hinting at it, but the GFS model is kind of laid off on this sort of wind deal and also the snow deal. They actually brought the snow totals all the way down to the coastline now, so rather than it being farther inland. But this is the HRRR model, also known as the HRRR model. I know it's a weird model to say R that many times, but anyways. So I want to zoom in particularly right around here, okay? So this is going through tonight, right? So obviously we're seeing rain, and this upper level low is bringing in that warm air, that warm moist air, which is going to drag some of these gusty winds, and that's why I said maybe some gusty winds could blow around objects. I wouldn't rule out, and I wouldn't say there's going to be any power outages, but especially right along the coastline where you get wind gusts 40 miles per hour or higher, there's definitely a chance. But I want to go through Sunday afternoon and evening. So around between 10 a.m. and as late as 3 p.m. it's going to be pretty calm up here as you can see. But once we get towards 4 p.m. into 7 p.m. things get interesting. Wait for this to load in. Things get interesting, okay? 7 p.m. it's getting gusty out there. The snow is arriving. It's quite gusty in southern Maine with wind gusts from the west about the Portland area on north and east as far as Bangor. We're dealing with wind gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour, and some isolated higher wind gusts as possible right along the immediate coastline, especially in the mid-coast, where Rockland could be seeing wind gusts in this particular model with around 28 miles per hour. But watch this. Let's get through 11 p.m. Here we go. These winds really start to ramp up, and we will be seeing snow all the way down to the coastline. So now that I think of it, I think both the down east coastline and the mid coast, along with southern Maine, has a shot of a blizzard condition. I wouldn't even be shocked if the National Weather Service issues either a blizzard watch or a blizzard warning. Because when you're seeing wind gusts around 37 miles per hour, I understand it's supposed to be 3 consecutive hours. But let's watch this. Let's see how this plays out. So that's around 11 p.m., 12 a.m. Look at that. It gets gusty, right? Let's focus on particularly the one spot, Belfast. Okay, for example, Belfast, this is around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 35 miles per hour still, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 37 miles per hour. That is 3 consecutive hours right there of 35 miles per hour or higher. That's why I said I would not rule it out. So let's take a look at another model if you don't think that's a fair decision to say. Let's go through 11 p.m. I want to go around 1 a.m., right? Maybe a little bit closer to 2 a.m. 35 miles per hour in Bangor. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. But there's 38, so let me go back a little bit. 36 miles per hour in Belfast at this particular point. 3 a.m., 38 miles per hour. 5 a.m., but if we go just a tad back, 38 miles per hour. It's close call, right? So it's a really close call. Let's go with Ellsworth, for example. Let's go 37 miles per hour. 6 a.m., that's still 38 miles per hour. 8 a.m., it's such a close call. But I think some areas could see 35 miles per hour wind gusts for a few hours. I don't know if it's really worth putting up a blizzard watch now that I think of it, because of just isolated areas could see wind gusts of 35 miles per hour or more in some spots. But I saw the HRR model, if we get a similar reading of the HRR model right here, a similar situation that goes like that, that's an easy blizzard watch along the coastline. GFS model kind of went down on this whole situation, but it still has pockets of 30 to 35 miles per hour wind gusts. 35 miles per hour, still 35 miles per hour, and still 30 miles per hour. HRTS model. Let's go through this one. This one is going to be a little bit lighter on the wind gusts, I would assume. Yeah, so I think the chance is there. And that's why I want to show you guys something. Alright, so this is what I wanted to show you guys. So now that I think of it, I might want to update this map again, so I might do that, but I don't really want to update it. So about the Augusta area on southward near Portland, all across down east coast, I have the best area to chance. Best area, these are the best areas to see at least a blizzard watch or a warning, or at the very least, like I said, the very least a blizzard watch or warning, if not blizzard conditions. Just because of those pretty much 3 weather models saying we could see wind gusts between 30 and 35 miles per hour for 1 to 2 hours. But 3 hours is the criteria for blizzard. And there was probably 2 models out of 3 that were predicting a blizzard watch. Obviously, I'm thinking the National Weather Service would obviously have to see these conditions first for 3 consecutive hours to at least issue a blizzard warning. But what's the point in issuing a blizzard warning if it just happens once, right? But still, that's still blizzard conditions. If you get 35 mile per hour wind gusts within a winter storm, it doesn't even have to be a winter storm, right? So you have to get, 35 mile per hour for 3 hours. Again, you have to get the visibility down really low, right? I think it's like a quarter, 1/4 of a mile or something. You have to get it down that far, and it has to be there for 3 consecutive hours. So it's going to be a tough call. It's going to be a tough call. We'll see how it goes, but honestly, down east coastline sees the most intense wind gusts most of the time, and this is where the forecast models are showing the gustiest winds potentially. So we'll have to see how this plays out. So temperatures next. The temperatures are going to get chilly, okay? You might think it's cold right now. It's been cold over the last couple of days, but just wait. This is Sunday afternoon, and directly after that cold front passing through, boom, right into the freezer. And those temperatures do crash all the way down into portions of Florida. And that area of that lobe of just really cold air pushes off to areas in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic and portions of the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region. We get well below zero. This is for Wednesday. Things become more uncertain. We continue going through, and we might have a little bit of a warm-up right there, but boom, directly after it crashes again. It looks a little bit more unsteady as we head into the next couple of weeks because we're going to have more warm-ups. It's a potential anyways, but we'll see how things go. But what does that mean for the weather here particularly? Alright, here we go. So this is that area of low pressure passes by. This is Monday. Boom, we go right into the freezer. Also, I wanted to mention, look at these temperatures during the day. This is cold. When that winter storm is coming through, this is cold. It's rather cold with the snow. It's going to be cold with the snow. It's going to be cold. And then, boom, we crash down right into the freezer. Around -7 and -8 in Bangor. And it stays cold for an extended period of time before finally we get some sort of relief, maybe on Saturday and Sunday of next week. But even things then become way uncertain right now, and there makes sense to be another warm-up. So yeah, I guess that's going to do it for the weather forecast in Maine. So again, areas in the north are probably going to see the least amount of snow out of this next system. Probably 2 to 4 inches is fair enough to say. Central Highlands through probably around the Skowhegan area on through Holton, around to the Bangor area, and maybe sneaking into portions of the upper Penobscot Valley, up down through Augusta, down to Portland, would see snow totals between probably, I'd say probably 4 and 6 inches. I would say that's fair enough to say. Bangor on down eastward, probably up to Holton, probably south of Holton actually, Lakeville on northeast, down to the mid-coast, probably going down to Rockland area onto the coastline. Probably has a fair shot of seeing 6 to 8 inches. I would not rule out some isolated local higher amounts, especially around the Danforth area. Anywhere in far eastern Maine has a shot of seeing over 8 inches of snow, I'd say.